Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, my dear sister, Chief Dr. Joel Taylor, my sister, Senator Dr.Rasha Kelej, Merck Foundation. You know, today I have so many special people on this high table. My dearest auntie, the Minister of Gender from the Gambia. Now you'll understand why I am attached to her. She's one of the people who grew me to believe in myself and to do what is best for women. That time she was the director of the Women's Bureau in the Gambia under President Jammeh. Now she is the Minister of Gender. I'm not surprised. You've been doing this for so long to understand women's issues. Our Honourable Minister of Health, Dr. Dembi, the Regional Deputy of UNFPA, one of the institutions that believe in the office of the First Lady and work with the office of the First Lady. Of course, my own Doki extraordinary. When you have a doctor as a friend, you should not be worried about injection. But Doki here, who is a honorable man who believes that women should be given the space, the function that we are celebrating in Sierra Leone the last 2 days and going up to the 1st of July, this man decided that we should host it in Sierra Leone because of the steps and the things that His Excellency the President has done for women. He sees Sierra Leone as a bright example to the world, and that's the reason why we are gathered here this morning. Doki, my doctor from Nigeria, who has championed women's issue, and that's, you know, we're here today also as part of the sexual rights, the sexual and health rights of women's summit here in Sierra Leone. We're doing this side event. Working alongside purposeful Mr. Chernobyl again, another man. Not every day you see a man who believes in women's issue. Cherno is one of those men also who believe that women should be given the space to thrive and to breathe. That's all we ask for. We just want to breathe. Now, honorable ministers, the military wives, police wives, well, as a security wife myself, I don't mind Feka if he's saying that I am just with the military. Yes, I am with the military, but you know we need the police too. So I stand between the military and the police as a buffer zone to say we are one and the same because we try to do what's right for our country. All our guests, the nurses, the doctors that were trained, sponsored by Merck Foundation for 2 years to go and specialize in oncology, are here. Russia. Very first time I came in as First Lady of this nation, you believed in me and you asked that we present to you doctors that you would train, because I presented to you a serious case on rape issues and early marriage and cancer in Sierra Leone. And you said to me right there, I will help you with cancer. I've not been that vocal about cancer, not because I don't want to be, but I want to make sure we have all the facilities, because when you are talking about something, you have to have a solution. Now, training these doctors with the minister now preparing to build our the center for where everybody who have cancer, we pray that no one do, but if you do, where they will treat them, then I know it is the right time for you to come to Sierra Leone. And that's why we're invited to come here and not only meet our doctors, but to also ask you to train more. Because from here here, I want to take you to the 34 hospital that we are constructing everything from scratch. We're building a safe center for our girls. We're building a 100-bed ward for our women, 100-bed ward for our men. We have 100-bed children's ward, which is ready already, an administrative building so that all our doctors and nurses will have an office of their own in the hospital. It's ready. We have a school of nursing. Now you see we have our nurses here. We have a school of nursing. But the difference with this school of nursing that we have done in 34 hospitals, this is the first time we will have a digitalized, specialized courses for nurses. There, we will ask the military to open it up to all nurses in this country so that they are able to use computer, so that they are able to save their files on computers and work within the digital space. So that also, we're only waiting for the furnitures to put everything, and then we will hand over to the government of Sierra Leone. We have a state-of-the-art excellence center. We call it excellence center because you don't want to stigmatize a building to say safe home. You know, anybody who runs into a safe home means that the person is in trouble. So we call it excellence center. And that center will hold everything because as part of the team, we have a task force that His Excellency puts together to fight rape and early marriage issues in this country. There we have the Female Doctors Association, who are partnering with the Office of the First Lady. We have, of course, the Rainbow Center, who has been at the forefront of everything that the First Lady does. Every rape issue in this country that goes to the doctors will end up at the Rainbow Center because they will assess you, and they are one of the only institutions who have the mind to go to court and give evidence. So we are working with the Rainbow Center. We are working with the Family Support Unit under the police and the Deputy Inspector General of Police. From day one, the day we started the inception of the idea of putting together Hands Off Our Girls campaign, she was one of the people who were there. And then she was in charge of gender and the police, and this woman had worked with me all throughout. So we have the FSU, they will have an office there. We'll have the doctors. We have a doctors association and lawyers association. They're all female. All of them have signed up to protect our girls and represent our girls. They will all have an office there. And you would think, well, this woman is crazy. But the idea for me, for us to have an excellent center like that is when a child is raped, they become a victim. And I don't see why we should victimize them twice, 3 times, 4 times. Because when a child is raped, the first thing they had to do, they take them to the police. They will go and narrate their story. And that ordeal is not something you want to relieve. And then you leave there, you go to the doctor. You will explain the same thing. From the doctor, you will go to your lawyer. You will explain the same thing. So by the time you get to court, you would have explained your problem so much that you don't even want to do it anymore. But with this excellence center, we will have a dedicated social counseling room where the child will be, and then there will be a screen. The lawyer, the doctor, family support unit, police, everybody will be in a hall, in their own hall, and they will have a screen, and they will interview the child once. There, everybody take your note. Just in case if we go to court and the police says, oh, unfortunately we lost the file, the doctors will provide a file. If the lawyer said, oh, I left my file at home, the military will produce a file. So everybody will be there, including Rainbow Center, who will be taking care of these kids. All of them under one roof, and that's why we said we should not call it a safe home, but an excellent center. We'll also have rooms there to keep these girls in an event that they cannot go back to their community immediately. We'll keep them there until we're able to relocate them. that also is part of this building. And it's going to be named after His Excellency, our champion for women's issue, the Julius MAADA BIO Excellence Center. And to do all of this project, my goodness, I mean, we're talking about almost $5 million. And I am very proud to say not a single penny has come from the government of Sierra Leone. Not a single penny. I have been the best, you know, in Sierra Leone there's a word called bigger bigger. When you ask, and you ask good people, you get. And what I have done is to build an alliance within Sierra Leone and outside Sierra Leone to ask people to help. And in most cases, I don't even ask them for the money. I'll say, buy the goods and bring it. That's all we need. For me, we need this institution. And you will ask me, why the military? Why the military? Because I love my husband dearly. But most importantly, the military, they trusted me to take over the hospital. They believe that I will be able to do it. Not everybody will allow you to break their hospital without seeing the money. But the 34 entrusted the whole of 34 to me. When you go and see what we have done, you will not believe that we've only done this during the COVID. Because with COVID, we were restricted of going around and do the campaign. So I thought, okay, let me now use all the energy and my madness and craziness into building this facility. So in the last 18 months, we have done wonders with 34 hospitals. And we're hoping before the end of this year, the People's Hospital named 34 will be handed over back to the government of Sierra Leone, and we will hand it over to the Minister of Health for the people to use. But the most important reason why we choose 34 hospital, every pandemic we have in this country, 34 is the most reliable hospital that people will choose to go. Every pandemic, from Ebola to COVID, and before that to Lassa fever, it has always been 34. 34 has been a battlefield for our people. So when COVID hits, and I saw the way 34 decided to come and save Sierra Leone and save the people of Sierra Leone. I know people who had COVID. Well, I mean, I can even say myself, I must have had COVID 5-6 times, because those symptoms I've had too many times, you know. So, but you don't announce it. When I don't smell, I thought to Phyllis, I said, it look like we have COVID, or I'm not smelling anything. And I believe a lot of people had had that experience. But thank God, because of the vaccine, I wasn't sick. And when I realized that there must be a possibility, I'll just stay away and keep myself away from people until I recover. I've got that symptoms like 5 times now. So if it is COVID, then I've been a victim of COVID 5 times. But all throughout, like I said, 34 has been there for our people. The doctors were ready to sacrifice, the nurses were ready to sacrifice, and I thought, okay, if this is the hospital that is our own war zone, every time you have pandemic, they champion that process, then we have to make the hospital look like a hospital. 34 hospital. We're talking about 1934, when the first bricks were put there, and that's why it is named 34. Now, everything about 34, I'm sorry, my military people, don't vex so. Everything about 34 looked colonial. It was so old. Even the world, when you look at the world, it will scream at you and say, please help me, I'm tired, I even want to die now. So we thought, okay, we are going to break every building, one by one, and build them. And since we've started, we've got help from unlikely places, America, Australia, England, Sierra Leone here. We will organize a program for that purpose. Within 3 days, that program will be sold out within 3 days. When we send a letter and explain why we want to do this function, within 3 days, we will get reply from everybody and say, we're in. We want to be part of this. And that's the reason why we will have a state-of-the-art hospital. By the time we finish with 34, it will be the biggest government-owned hospital in this country. And we'll make sure it be the most sophisticated government-owned hospital in this country. So we're gathered here to see our beautiful sisters, women who are making difference in our lives. Mrs. Joel Taylor, I don't remember since what age I have admired this woman for so long. And I am so pleased that the only person who was able to bring this woman into Sierra Leone as the vice president is myself. I am very humble. Every time I see her, I say, don't come to Sierra Leone unless I am the one who is asking you to come. And this time when she called to say, I'm coming, I was in a meeting and I screamed, I'm like, she's coming, like, you know, when a child sees a candy. And I'm so pleased. And I was more upset when she arrived. I was not in the country. I was so upset, but my dear brother, the vice president of our republic, stepped in and made sure she has the welcome that she deserved. Of course, Merck Foundation arrived yesterday. Dr.Rasha arrived yesterday. And my auntie from Gambia, representing the First Lady of the Gambia, also arrived yesterday. And finally, Air France decided to fly out yesterday and brought me home. I thank God for all of that. But this morning, I want to thank you, beautiful women, and all the good men that are here. For a man to sit in on women's issue means that that man understands our story. Our story is deep, and only us understand our story. The only unfortunate thing with our story is the fact that the solution is not with us. The solution is with the men. The men just need to wake up one morning and say, we will not rape a child again. And then rape is gone. The men will just wake up one morning and say, we will not marry a teenage girl anymore because they are kids. And then we will have a very good country or continent. And I'm saying this not because I have believed in this or because I have been a victim. At the age of 12, I believe I've said my story over and over, and I'm not ashamed to say it. But at the age of 12, I was married off. I knew who my husband was. I was just waiting for that day for him to come and just ship me off. So any day would have been. When the war came in Sierra Leone, it was the worst thing that happened to Sierra Leone, but that's the best thing that happened to me. Because without the war, I would not have been here. It is that war that saved my life. It is the war, the day the rebel entered Kono, that was the day I got my own independence and my freedom. Because that was the day I challenged my family and said, I'm not coming with you. And I did that because my mother was with me. My mother said, I have gone through this, I will not allow you go through this. If it means that I will lose you, let me lose you to other things, but not to early marriage. Don't come with us. And that is what changes my life. Wow. So my commitment to this is not because somebody else is telling me a story. I know the feeling. This is a man that I've known for all my life. I called him uncle. When I see him coming, I'm running to come to my uncle because he's going to give me black meat to eat. And then one day they just turn around and say, oh, this man that is your uncle is going to be your husband. Automatically that relationship changes. When I see him, I hate him from the core of my guts, but I can't do anything. I had to pretend. And the moment he's coming to our house, everybody had to take me, even if I'm playing outside with kids, they will take me out as if I am not a child anymore. They'll bring me in and wash me and dress me up and make me sit and behave. How do you get a 12-year-old child to behave in front of a man, an old man who is old enough to be my father? And guess what? Today I am the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone. And that man is now an imam in one of those mosques in the Gambia. And when I go home and I see him and I greet him and I say to him, "How are your wives and your children?" And he will laugh. I said, "You see how you'd have made my life so miserable." I keep saying to him, because I still call him uncle, I said, "I would have killed you before you touch me." I said, "You are lucky." Honestly, I said, "You are so lucky. My father did not force me to go into your house, because I would have killed you. By now you will not be an imam." But we are now friends, and he understands, because one woman, who is my mother, was willing to sacrifice everything, was willing to challenge my father and say to my father, "They have done it to me for you, but you are not going to do this to my daughter." Our responsibilities now as mothers is to educate our husbands, educate our men around us, educate our sons, so that they understand that we are not their personal properties. We have to. We need to re-engage them. Nothing in this world is permanent. So, if we want to continue to have this conversation, we need to have the conversation with men, not ourselves. We are not the problem. They are not the problem, just that they have the solution. And that solution is what we are seeking for. We should stop using tradition into our religion. Tradition is the reason why Africa is where it is, because we use tradition and fake it as religion. And the good thing is, if you want to talk to me about religion, make sure you understand the Quran very well, because I'm a Muslim woman and I understand my Quran back and forth. And I did that because I don't want anybody to lie to me tomorrow. You don't have it anywhere in the Quran where it says rape is okay. You don't have it in the Quran anywhere. Anywhere. I challenge every imams or religious leaders to come forward and show me in which surah that it says that a woman should be married at the age of 12, 13, or 14. You know, they use this. They said Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he married Aisha, Aisha was 13. But what they failed to put also in their own narration, because of the pedophilia that is in them, is that Muhammad never allowed Aisha into his house until she was above 18. That means even Muhammad, who we follow as our prophet, understand that a child should remain a child. A woman is a woman who can give birth to a child. A child cannot give birth to a child. That's the reason why we have a lot of infant and child mortality in our continent. That's the reason when you go to our mortuary, 80% of all the dead people you meet in our mortuary are little girls between the age of 12 and 16. So we can stop this. We can stop this. If we're able to contain rape, we're able to contain early marriage, most of our problems as women will solve. How do we get fistula? Little girls being pregnant and they're not able to carry that baby. They don't understand how to go to hospital. Little girls. Of course, by the time they deliver that child, they don't understand their own body. They end up with fistula. How do we have the rates of infant and child mortality that we have today? Little girls, pregnant. Now when you talk about rape, the easiest form of legalizing rape in Africa today is through early marriage. Any form of early marriage is legalizing rape. We need to put a stop to this. Because if you force a child to be married to a man without their consent, you're allowing that man to rape that child. And we need to put a stop to this. But then let us channel our conversation to our men. And I thank God that His Excellency the President, the man that I sleep behind every night, understand my position. And I understand his position. And his position is that the women of this country should be given the opportunity. The women of this country should be given the space. And he's at the forefront. He's telling us women, take your rightful place. I am one man who is ready to help you. Now it is your time to take your place. So Sierra Leone, take your place and sit on the high table, because that is where the women belong today. I thank you so very much for coming to this our conversation. And I want to thank all the people on the high table. Again, Mr. Doki Doki, thank you for choosing Sierra Leone, and thank you for believing our ability to pull off such a wonderful, wonderful program. And I know the next country you go will have to look at what we did in Sierra Leone and ask, will I be able to top it? And that question, you will remind me and say, we are struggling somewhere. Just in case, if they are not able to, you can come back, we will host you again. We have the space, we have the women, we have the people, we have the knowledge, and we have the youths that are ready to change whatever it is that we're doing. Digitalization, women empowerment, the improvement of women's life, the right for women to understand what is their own right is here to stay if us, as Sierra Leoneans, believe in it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.